Hey everyone, Mr. Cinema Junkie here at Crap Cinema Central, bringing to you probably one of the best worst westerns ever made. According to Cowboys and Indians magazine, it actually is the worst western ever made. Um, why? It has everything a western of its time should have. It has bad guys, it has good guys, it has the hero, it has the villain. It has your basic cattle rustlers and people trying to steal land from each other, rustic outdoor settings, gunslinging. What could possibly be wrong with this movie? Well, the title of the movie is Terror of Tiny Town. And as you can see right here, this guy is shorter than the swinging doors. That's because he's a midget. He's a midget because that is an all-midget western. I think that might be what everybody was kind of up in arms about. Or not even up in arms, just kind of like, meh. But that was the selling point for me. I don't really get into westerns all that much, but this is probably one of my top 5 westerns ever. Just because of the sheer audacity and moxie of somebody who made an all-midget western. It stars a cast of midgets known as Jed Buell's Midgets. You might know them from Wizard of Oz. A lot of them are sprinkled throughout the Munchkin scene in Wizard of Oz. For instance, Yvonne Moray, she plays Nancy Preston. She was in the Lullaby League. As was Nita Krebs, who plays Nita the Dance Hall Girl. She was also in the Lullaby League. Billy Curtis, who plays Buck Lawson. He was one of the Munchkins. Otto the Cook, who was played by Charles Becker. He was the mayor of Munchkin City. So yeah, there's a long-standing deal there with Jed Buell's Midgets. This movie actually came about because one of Jed Buell's employees at Spectrum Pictures was overheard by Jed Buell, saying something about the state of movies, of movie studios and such, because this was during the 30s, so the economy was pretty bad. And he said, if the economy doesn't turn around soon, we're going to have to make movies with nothing but midgets in it. And when he heard that, he was like, that's what we're going to do. So they made an all-midget western. The story is pretty simple. It's a basic western formula. Bad guys versus good guys. White hat versus black hat. Very small hats, but still. You have Buck Lawson, who's the hero. He's in love with Nancy Preston. And it's almost kind of a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing, because they're from opposite ranches. Their dads don't get along too much, but they love each other. You have your villain, Bat Haynes. Bat Haynes, he's a cattle rustler, he's a villain, and at one point he shoots Nancy's dad and frames Buck's father for it. So now the two ranches are warring against each other, and it's up to Buck to prove what exactly happened. With any true western, there's a lot of, some music, some saloon time. And the thing with the saloons is that they use a lot of sight gags in this movie. I shouldn't have said saloons, but they use a lot of sight gags using the saloons, such as walking under the swinging doors instead of pushing them open, of course, because they're about this much clearance. Also, drinking beer out of cups and glasses that they could probably take a swim in. There's a scene where they sing a song called "The Story of Mr. Jack and Mrs. Jill," and the bartender is behind the bar, and he's standing on a box and he's drinking a beer in a goblet. I mean, the damn thing's like this big, and it's bigger than his head almost. And he's chugging this sucker. He's not taking little sips. Now, their lungs are probably about as big as my two fists put together. So, twice while he's drinking it, he takes this hefty blow of air trying to catch his breath and blows foam everywhere.
And I'll be your Mr. Jack. I might be your Mrs. Jill. A crowd will congregate, celebrate the wedding of Jack and Jill. Let's go way up on the hill. Pretend I'm Jack and you're Jill.
And I'm like, well, he's got, you know, he stuck with the scene. He didn't, you know, pull the glass away from it. He chugged the whole thing, but kind of blew nose hair all over the place and stuff. Another sight gag is the band that's playing. They've got two guys operating one cello. One guy's playing the cello at the bottom. The other guy's up at the top working the strings. And at one point, the guy working the bow gets it caught in the strings. Can't get it out. He's fighting to get it out. Just little things like that throughout the movie, peppered throughout the movie. Nancy Preston pulls a gun on someone, and the gun is probably, the barrel's like this long, but in her little hand, it looks like a damn rifle. Everyone rides Shetland ponies. They rope calves. Okay, nothing in this movie is full grown, except those damn glasses of beer. Now, I don't know if, well, I shouldn't say I don't know, because I've seen quite a few movies that have really short running times. And I thought maybe it was just a thing because they didn't have the budget for a full-length Western. But there's a few movies back then that have about the same running time. This one runs about 62 minutes. So if you can spare an hour and 2 minutes out of your life to watch what is probably one of the coolest bad Westerns ever made, give it a shot. You can pick it up in most reputable retailers online if you look around. But yeah, definitely check it out. I think it's worth a look. There's not a whole lot to say about this movie other than it's a Western. It's a bad Western. It's a bad Western with midgets. And I absolutely dig this movie. Well, that's my first review for Crap Cinema Central. I kept it about as short as every actor that was in this movie. Check out the link below to get a little taste of what I'm talking about. It's the intro scene. And please, by all means, tune back here for another review. And keep it crappy, people.